Hello and welcome to NewFilmmakers Los Angeles. My name is Danny De Lillo and we're here at the South Park Center. I'm here with Robyn Paterson with her movie, Run Rabbit. Let's take a look at a clip. Robyn, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for coming all the way from New Zealand to be with us. It's such a joy and a pleasure, so thank you.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Run Rabbit was amazing, but for those that haven't seen it, tell us a brief synopsis.
Sure, so it follows the story of a young refugee who has recently arrived in New Zealand, and he's been resettled in a small town. He needs to find a way to pave a way for a life for himself in that very different environment from what he's used to.
I was captivated by this story, like I really was, and I was just, as I was watching it, I was just so proud that you made this film, because we don't see enough stories of what a refugee goes through living in a completely different country, having gone through what is presumed to be quite horrific experiences. Where did the inspiration come for you in creating this project?
Well, it came during the time of the height of the Syrian refugee crisis, at least from New Zealand's point of view. There was a lot of pressure for New Zealand to take a bigger quota of refugees. Our government at the time, previous government, was reluctant. There were a lot of protests. Eventually they agreed to increase our quota, but that they said that refugees would not be settled in the cities, they'd be settled in our small towns and provinces. Now, I'm an immigrant myself. My family moved from Zimbabwe when I was 13. We'd experienced a lot of things over there, but we weren't refugees, and obviously I had white privilege coming into this country as well. So things weren't as hard for me, but I still had some insight into what life is like when you move into a completely different environment. You have to find a way, and people try and help. They're well-meaning, but they have no idea what you're carrying with you. And I thought about that from the point of view of the refugees, and I thought how much more of that will they be experiencing, and how dislocating it would be to be in those small towns and those provinces, which is also where I had ended up in New Zealand.
I found it like mesmerizing, because you know, when you're born in a certain place and you're just so used to experiences, and then you know, seeing these young people come through who, you know, aside of just learning about themselves and trying to get through life, and have all these other things that they have to deal with, language and culture and experience, and how people view and see them like unaccounted for, like so many things. It was a hard watch, but a realistic watch. And I thought your cast were amazing. How was the casting process for you?
Thank you. Well, and what I have to give credit to the cast as well, because we workshopped the script together. And the two main characters, or the lead character and his the boy who plays his brother, they are actually refugees. So Saman is a refugee from Iran, and Ram is a refugee from Syria who was quite recently arrived. So we workshopped the script together with them, incorporated their experiences and their take on things. And the casting process was challenging. You know, I wanted to find people for whom it was real and for whom I could work, you know, through things together with. And I didn't know where I was going to find people, but luckily a friend of mine is a drama teacher at high school in New Zealand, and she offered to put the word out on the high school drama network to other teachers. And I'm really grateful to drama teachers throughout New Zealand who came back to me and said, look, I've got this boy in my class, you know, he's really expressing himself through drama, he's keen to be involved, and that's how that happened. I went and met several of them and filmed with them. And
Oh, well, I mean, firstly, wonderful that there are so many lovely people in New Zealand that made protests to bring in people to their country. That's something that is wonderful. And how is it for you as a director to then, you know, tell these, you know, two young talented actors to tell them, say, hey, how do you feel about taking on this role? Because I'm sure in some respects it's definitely close to home.
Definitely close to home, and we talked a lot about it. Saman in particular has very good English. He's been in New Zealand for several years now. He read the script, and he he kept emailing me. He really wanted to be a part of it because he really connected with it. And that was really special for me as well, that he had that connection and he really, you know, kind of made that link. And he said, I've never seen this written down before, but all these things that I've been wanting to tell about how things were for me.
Yeah.
So that was really nice. We had that connection. And for Ram, we just had a lot of conversations about what he had been through. He had only been in New Zealand for a year.
Wow.
But talking to their families as well was really important, and just making sure that everybody knew what it was that we were creating, and that everyone was on board with what that was. But as I said, we sat down early before any crew got involved and really talked through things a lot. Yeah.
Well, I think you also set yourself challenges for sure in the film. I was like, wow, I was like, my goodness, like, you know, there was obviously a lot of, you know, rabbits involved and outdoor areas, which I'm sure was not the easiest place to shoot as well. What were kind of some of the bigger challenges that you had in making it, if there was any?
Oh no, I set myself the maximum amount of challenges. I did everything that a first-time filmmaker working with a very low budget should not do. I had children, I had guns, I had animals, and live ones and dead ones.
My goodness.
And we had swimming and rivers and all the things you shouldn't have. So there were certainly a lot of challenges. Probably the biggest challenge was the rabbits.
Yeah.
We had live rabbits, and I needed the rabbits to be tame enough to handle, you know, and we needed to work with them. And so that's something I thought about really early, and was communicating with people in the area. I found someone who liked to hand raise wild rabbits and tame them. So we worked with her really early, but literally the night before filming, the rabbits got out.
They got out. Can you believe it?
They got it. They escaped. The rabbits that had been hand raised for this
your
film.
cast has escaped. Like, what are you supposed to do?
I had no cast, no cast of rabbits, and they were in the first scene. So that was kind of a nightmare. Yeah. I rang every pet shop in the greater region, and I actually rang our colorist and I said, hypothetically, don't panic, but hypothetically, if I had a pet white rabbit or a pet black rabbit, which is worse to try and make brown to look like a wild rabbit? Yeah. I was only half kidding, but as luck would have it, we finally found someone in the community who had this batch of wild-looking rabbits that had come from her pet rabbit.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Because I mean, I used to live in the country, and wild rabbits have a certain, you know, look about them. They look like they're, you know, they're out in the wild, obviously. So they're different. So my goodness.
They're not floppy. They don't.
No, they're not floppy. So so you made it happen anyway, which was amazing. Yeah. What did you want your audience to take from your film?
I really wanted my audience to look at the human side of refugees. You know, I think we focus on numbers and statistics a lot with refugees, and we look a lot at what people have escaped from. Right. And there's this tendency in Western countries to go, oh, you know, oh, they're here now, they're fine. Yeah. You know, that's cool, they're all good now. Yeah. And it's, you know, it's not. When you arrive in a country that's so strange and foreign to you, and you've left so much, and you've lost so much, and you're carrying trauma, and all your touchstones are different, that's the beginning of a journey in a lot of ways. Yeah. It's the beginning of a whole other experience that's equally difficult in a different way. So I really wanted them to take that away from it.
Yeah, I honestly think your film should universally be seen, because like you said, I think I'm so tired of just hearing statistics. These are people, these are emotions. People are going through some stuff that most people, you wouldn't wish upon anyone to go through. And you know, sometimes I feel like through statistics we lose the essence of the realness of a human being and what they've experienced, and just having more care and heart for it as well, you know. So I think it should be seen universally, and I think it's a great encouragement when we've got countries that welcome refugees from other countries, and I'm glad that New Zealand fought for that as well. What have you learned in your career as a filmmaker thus far? Because obviously I think, you know, you're a great filmmaker and you can overcome challenges even when your cast run away. So, you know, I'm sure there are ways in which you try and balance and that I can get through this. But what maybe have you learned in your career thus far that you could maybe share with any aspiring filmmakers out there?
Sure. I think the main thing I've learned, particularly through this most recent experience, was to trust my own instincts. I think as female filmmakers in particular, there are a lot of voices who are, you know, should do things this way, should do things that way. We struggle sometimes to find our own confidence, or we struggle to say that we are an expert in any field until we, you know, are winning Oscars or running countries, or, you know. And so I think what I've really learned is to trust my instincts, follow them, feel the fear and do it anyway.
Yeah.
And just go out there.
Thank you for leading the way, and I think it's amazing. What is next for you?
I'm developing a feature at the moment that's based on my own experience as an immigrant, and I come back often to the themes of cross-cultural understanding and the notion of home and what that means to people.
Yep.
So I'm developing a feature, another drama on those lines.
Fantastic.
But I also have a new documentary out called In the Zone, which was filmed partly in New Zealand and partly in Chicago.
Oh, wonderful.
Which I'm hoping to bring to the US soon. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
Keep bringing us more films, please, honestly. Thank you very much. No, honestly, Robyn, thank you so much for being here. It's a joy and a pleasure to have your first film with us. So just keep making more movies for us, please.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Robyn
it.
Paterson, everybody. Thank you very much.